crisp as usual. Their foot passing was poor. They gave the ball away. They kicked bad wides.
And yet pressure, Colin. It was pressure.
They were there at the end.
But let's hear what the Down manager has to say about it all. That, of course, is James McCartney. I'm sure he's a very happy man. He's talking to Joanne Cantwell.
James, I'm sure you're a very happy man as well, and yet you kept your players in for quite some time in that changing room. How come?
Well, we wanted to get them back down to earth as quickly as possible. Obviously, it's a great victory, but there's nothing won yet.
I'd say, though, your nerves must have been shot with the way the game ended.
Oh, absolutely. I suppose when we were 6 points up with 10 minutes to go, and full credit to Kildare and typical geezer. They came back at us and never say die attitude. And look, that last one that hit the crossbar could have went anywhere, and it could have been heartbreak for us. But luckily, we got the rub of the green. Do
you think it would have been rough justice had they snuck it at the end?
Probably maybe in 70 minutes we might think that, but if the team come from 6 down and win in the last 10 minutes, you have to give them credit. So no is the answer.
We've heard all the worry and concerns, understandably, about Ambrose Rogers, but you went out there and you completely dominated around the middle of the field.
Well, Peter Fitzpatrick came in and I think he showed that he's starting to fulfil a bit of potential. So look, we're delighted with the way he performed, and also Callum King had another monster game, so we're delighted with that as well. In fact, control might be the word to sum up a lot of your performance all over the pitch today. Well, I don't know about that. We won by a point. I'm not sure if we can control the game. We certainly looked dangerous in patches. When we got the ball to our forward line, we looked as if we could create chances and score, but Kildare kept like a dog at your ankle. They just wouldn't go away, and they kept coming and coming. Do you think the damage you did in the first half was key to the way the game turned out? Well, we started off very poorly, I felt in the first quarter they dominated the break ball, and we were living on scraps, and we got a goal and I don't know, square ball or whatever, I'm not sure, but we were delighted because it obviously clawed us back into the game. We kicked on from that, but I thought we probably took over in the latter part of the second half and the first part of the second half, but fair play to them, they still kept coming. Not for the first time we saw Marty Clark go in there and orchestrate absolutely everything for Down, it seemed. Well, we like to think there's other people playing too, but yeah, look, we're delighted to have that man back, and look, he's a vital player for us, and he's doing it on the biggest stage of all in Ireland, so look, we're just happy to have him. I'm sure you're happy to have this other man who's standing beside you as well, Benny Coulter. I asked James, were his nerves gone? Have you managed to recover with the way that game ended? No, it was grand. Like, there at the end, it was a bit panicky with that free kick, so you know, I think Brendy got a hand it, and thankfully the whistle was blew at the end, and we're through anyway. You can't have been that calm at the time, surely. No, it was. We had about 10 boys in the line, so it's going to be very hard for them to get through. Like, so now we're there anyway, and we're delighted. You must be delighted as well with the performance as a whole over the 70 minutes. Yeah, it was very good. You know, defence there held out well. There was a period in the first half where they at the start of the game where they had maybe 3 or 4 chances and they didn't take them, and we came up and we got that goal and a few points, and we went at half time, a few points up, and you know, we done well. Like. Was it in your heads going to the game, given how poorly Kildare have started matches this summer, that you needed to make sure that they didn't get off to a good start and you to a poor start today? Well, we talked about it, and we thought they would have come out flying, you know, and we thought maybe after 20-25 minutes it would have been very tight, and we were 3 points up. We didn't think we would be, but we knew they were going to come out fast at the start, and we just saved ourselves and try and stay with them, and we'd go hard at them then when they come back at us. So, you know, that's the way it turned out. We won there in the end. As I say, we're very happy. Well, Benny Coulter, it's wonderful to see you in an All-Ireland final at last. Thank you. Well Thanks, done.
It is, we'd all agree with that, but commiserations once again to Kildare. Now, we've almost come to the end of the programme here.
You're just sitting there shaking our heads how the last few minutes finished. You know, we've held our skelter towards the end, but I think every man put their body in the line and we got the result in the end.
I just thought that they were going to go for it, and I think I got the last touch, but I think there was about 3 or 4 other boys trying to claim it, but I just know it hit the bar, came down and just put it out, and just unbelievable. Well, it's a real dramatic way to get into an All-Ireland final. And if I've got the touch, I hope the video replay shows it. I'll live off that for a few years.
Why do you think you lost today, Kieran?
Yeah, there's probably a whole lot of different reasons. Just probably the basic one, we didn't score more than them. Outside of that there, like, it was, you know, a few things went against us. Didn't get the rub of the green, you know, missing easy scores, losing your first midfield, all those sorts of things add up.
When you say a few things went against you and the rub of the green, are you referring specifically to Benny Coulter's goal? Well,
you've probably seen a better view of that there, but like, I could see from the sideline it was a square ball, but You know, it's difficult, those sorts of things, because you're taking away from Down. Like, Down were very good today, like they were brilliant. But I say we spent during the week there listening to how Aidan O'Rourke stepped onto the field 20 times, like when he wasn't supposed to. Marginal calls with seconds. We can't seem to tell if the ball goes over the bar in Gaelic football or if somebody's in the square before the ball. You know, it'd probably make you wonder what those people who sit there and do this sort of stuff really think about, like, you know. But they probably just don't understand the game, so you just have to let them at it.
Do you think those two incidents you're talking about, the goal and then the point that wasn't given was waved wide, do you think they had a big bearing on the outcome?
Well, it's, you know, it's 4 points, so it is. So yeah, like it does, but it's very hard. Like, again, like, reporters stand there and ask me questions because they know what I'm going to say. Like, you know, it makes for good TV, it makes for good press. Like, but and they'll really know the answer. Like, it's, you know, if decisions are given that are wrong, like, you know, it's not that hard to sort of tell whether the ball, like, you know, you just look up, and if it goes between the sticks, you know, you wave it, there's a white flag, and if it goes between the net, you wave your green flag. Like, but I say, like, you know, you say these things, like, you know, because they mean obviously a lot to me, but you don't want to take away from the likes of what Down have achieved. Like, I played with Benny myself, and you probably not come across a more courageous player, you know. And like, if there's a ball into the square there between anybody, he's going to be in on top of it. Like, fantastic leap, great courage, and he's going to get in there, you know. So that's what he's going to do. And it's the same, like, you know, Danny Hughes' work great, like Colin King's, like, you know, physical presence, all of them, like, they were fantastic today. And, you know, it's sometimes it's like, you know, it's a scad consolation coming second, like, to a good team, like, but, you know, they were good today, like, and it's hard, like, they gave it, like, you know, being like, from Armagh, but Down are always good when they come here. You know, you have to give them credit, like, they're a class outfit.
Well, Kieran McGeeney went out of his way there to give credit to Down. Yeah. But his frustration is very, very strong. Have you sympathy for him, Martin?
I have, very much so. His frustration is manifest, but he's man enough also to say that Down were deserving of their victory, more or less. You know, there is no doubt about it. The couple of events during the game, like the square ball was one. The point that should have been perhaps was the second thing that he can look back on. But overall, you have to look at the game in a wider context. I thought, in terms of honesty, in terms of courage, you couldn't have asked for more. It was a wonderful occasion. Maybe at times the football was a little bit scrappy and there was poor decision making, but I think ultimately flair prevailed. Like, Down had more flair players to play to the top of their ability. I felt that Kildare didn't get as much out of their better players as they should. From
those two teams today and the two semi-finalists last weekend, it's been absolutely fantastic. If you sat down to try and write the script for the last 2 weekends, you'd struggle to come up with anything better than what we witnessed over the last 2 Sundays. Absolutely fantastic. Heartbreaking for Kildare. They gave everything they had, but just on the day it just wasn't enough, and the rub of the green went against them. But ultimately, I think Down won the game because in their forward line they just had players with a little bit more class, and they delivered on the big day. Kildare's classy forwards that we saw earlier on the championship were just a little bit shy today of where they needed to be to win the game. It's, you know, you score 114 in an All-Ireland semi-final, you would think you've done enough to win the game, but today it wasn't good enough, and Kildare have been fantastic all year, and they should hold their heads up high because they were brilliant, but just today they were found just a little bit short. Yeah,
I wonder though, is it hard for them to hold their heads up given they know there were incidents that changed the whole game? I mean, right at the very last minute, I mean, let's have a look at this.
75 minutes into the game, and as we spoke already, it is about a game of inches, and in both semi-finals were terrific occasions, and in games like this, the small little things can make a difference. And look, Kildare didn't have the luck today. You say you make your own luck, but Callum King can smile. He did get a touch to that ball, put it onto the post, a great save, a fantastic kick. Yeah. See him, he gets his hands to it, so the argument is over. You did get a touch to it, Callum, but again, very, very unlucky for Kildare. They hit the upright, they hit the crossbar.
The rebound hits Damien Rafferty in the face rather than falling to the Kildare man, so that's...
So he should get credit as well.
Absolutely.
But look at this, so Kildare fans, I mean, they might accept Down were the better team, as you say. Yeah. That's hard to take. If I'm a Kildare fella, I don't care, you know.
But there was only 2 points in it, and it's...
You know, you look at it from that angle, you think, yeah, that's a point. You hear the roar of the crowd, probably from